You guys, what's up? So let's talk about the current state of Apex. And I think this is something that is honestly worth talking about, considering that this game has honestly died down in terms of the hype. I mean, this game was probably one of the most successful games I think I've ever seen next to Fortnite and the very release of the launch. And I believe this game still has potential. So let's talk about why this game has honestly, in my opinion, downgraded, I guess you can say, throughout the entire time that this game has been out. So the first biggest issue I honestly have to say that this game has is skill-based matchmaking. Now, this is one that I wanted to touch on for a while. The reason why is because it's not fun at all, honestly, to play against any type of try-hard, especially in a casual setting. When this game first came out, what made it so fun is that you can honestly just play against anybody, and it just felt right to just have fun playing a game with your boys without having to go full sweat on them and try to stack and do a coordinated push just to be able to take out one person. When it comes to the point where I have to stack and try to do a coordinated push to take out one person, I just don't want, I don't even want to play the game anymore. I don't enjoy the game at that point. Don't get me wrong, I play Apex genuinely a lot. It's probably my most played game right now. And I enjoy playing the game, but everyone else doesn't enjoy playing the game. So what I mean by we is, everyone that plays this game as a content creator, a pro player, and or streamer, right? You're not gonna enjoy the game. Like I watch Diego, right? He's a really good player. He enjoys the game because he's obviously really good. But after a while, it doesn't matter how good you are. Eventually, you're going to snap and you're going to say, I can't take this anymore. I want to not have skill-based matchmaking. And I think this is, I guess it's like a staple for all FPSs of having skill-based matchmaking to tone down the better player's ability to destroy noobs. And I absolutely understand that. I do. But when it comes at the expense of your hardcore players, even losing your fans just because you want to make good players play against, very other good players, it just, at that point, it's not worth it, I'm sure. So the overall objective is to just put mixed matchmaking back in, or prioritize connections at that. I mean, I think that's a very good compromise compared to what we have now. So the next reason I'm going to list is gun balance. Gun balance obviously is not absurd as how it's been in almost any other game that I've played that's an FPS. It still has its balance. It's not as bad, but it's definitely bad. It makes for a very frustrating experience when you're playing against very skilled players that obviously are going to use meta, right? The most overpowered weapons in the game right now that have yet to be fixed obviously would be the R9, the PK or Peacekeeper, and the G7 Scout. Those weapons right there are just, they simply run the game right now. Literally, if you play any ranked or just any casual in a high elo, you're eventually going to get upset because you're going to be tired of people using the only same weapons against you. I know I'm a little hypocrite because I'm using the R9 in this gameplay, but for the most part, those weapons literally run the game. Now, obviously, I believe Respawn has actually acknowledged this, which is very good that they're actually acknowledging this, and I believe they're fixing the G7. Aside from the G7, I don't have any regards towards the PK. I don't know if they're even gonna fix the PK whatsoever. They said that they're gonna fix it, but I highly doubt they will because they don't really, they like to push out very late content. But regardless of that, those weapons right now run the game. And it's very frustrating, like I said, when you're playing against very good players that are using these weapons because they're going to hit most of their shots. They're going to literally laser you. And it kind of comes into the next thing, it really is like, you can't really play any other legends other than like Wraith, Pathfinder, Gibby, and Watson. Those are like the only selections that you have. Like you say, I'm playing Caustic in here. I'm a Caustic main, right? But me playing Caustic is such a big L because I'm a big hitbox and those weapons do very well against very big targets. The G7 still, like I said, I hopefully it gets nerfed, but it's still a very broken gun right now. It's not fun to play against that gun whatsoever. It feels like you're getting shit on all the time for just simply playing, any other legend than the ones that I listed, right? It's just, there's no point at all to play them, especially with the meta being the way that it is. So I know that has a lot of you guys saying like, well, what about the wingman? Because I've talked about all the three most overpowered weapons in the game right now, but what about the wingman? The wingman isn't absurdly strong right now. I do think the wingman is definitely a top tier weapon, but I wouldn't necessarily go and say that it's overpowered. I think the fact of it being overpowered is if it's in the right player's hands. Like you guys see Ace on stream, he always uses it. Really good player. and he is rewarded for it because he has really good aim. So I don't think any changes at all should be made towards the wingman whatsoever. I think it's a very okay weapon. It doesn't need to be changed in the next update, hopefully. So the last one I wanted to touch on before this commentary wraps up was content. And content is a selling point for any game. I solemnly believe that. And the reason why is because it keeps your audience interested in what's going to come next. What are we going to get next? What's cool? You know, what's new, right? This game hasn't had anything new for like the past damn near 3 months, I believe. And it just becomes, your game becomes stale, right? And like Rainbow Six Siege had a very thorough way of releasing content, right? They got the update that would come out, the big season update would come out every 2 months, or I believe, yeah, every 2 months. And after the season update, we would initially get a mid-season reinforcement. They don't obviously have that anymore, but that was really cool because the mid-season reinforcement made it significantly way more fun to look forward to anything in the game. I love the mid-season reinforcements. They were so much better. They weren't bad. And this game doesn't necessarily have any of that. You know, they release a very big staple, and then, you know, the big season update. And then we have to wait 3 months or 2 months, however long. I believe this season was delayed anyways. You know, I don't want to have an arcade event, man. I want to, if you're going to release any events, put duos back in, put solos back in. We don't need all this extra stuff like third person mode. No one asked for that. You know what we do ask for? Buffs and nerfs. It's really easy to please when it comes down to content, because you don't have to do anything to make content that, you know, viable. You know, like, all you got to do is just give us what we want in terms of content, and we are pleased as an audience. Like, everyone's been asking for duos. Where's duos? We don't see it. So overall, I think content is a very big thing, especially for a game like this, a battle royale that's been out for damn near a year. We only got 3 new characters and 3 new weapons within an entire link span of a year. That is bad. And the reason I say that is because you're not looking forward to anything. You're only looking forward to getting on every day, dealing with the skill-based matchmaking, getting melted across the map with a scout. Like, those are the things you look forward to when you play this game now. And it's just like, when you wake up and think to yourself, like, damn, I really actually have to wake up and get scouted from across the map. You don't want to play the game. It just makes for a very not fun experience overall. In conclusion, I think this game has obviously the most potential out of almost any battle royale. All they have to do is just listen. Listen. It's not hard to listen to the audience, the people that actually make your audience. I don't want to hear about the 80%. They don't make up your audience. You know what makes up your audience? The 10%. Those are including the streamers, the hardcore veteran players that play every day. That's your audience. And until they understand what an audience is and how to please them, this game is always going to be set for failure.